Hi, welcome to Chris Cook for YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how to make a quick casserole that will complement any meal. I'm having baked baby back barbecued ribs for dinner, and this is the side dish that I'm going to use to complement that. So I want to show you the ingredients that we're going to need. This recipe is called a potato and vegetable bake. What you will need for that is cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese, hash brown potatoes, and I'll give you the measurements as we go along, plus I'll post them at the bottom of this video. You'll need sour cream, you'll need a can of cream of chicken soup, salt and pepper to taste, Philadelphia cream cheese, 1 stick of butter, a sleeve of Ritz crackers, and you will need a small bag of mixed vegetables. Now I didn't have a small bag, so I'm just going to take some out of this in order to use for this casserole. And you will need 2 onions. Now I'm going to go away, cut up my onions because you will need to saute them, get everything ready to blend it together, and then I'll come back and we'll bake it off in this buttered dish. So I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm at the stove where I'm melting up 2 tablespoons of the 1 stick of butter. So we're only going to use 1 stick of butter, but we're going to use some to go in here, some to go for the sauteing of the onions. We're going to use some of it to go in the actual mix itself, and then we're going to use some for the last step, which will be putting on the topping, which is going to be the Ritz crackers. Now that my butter has melted up, I'm going to take 1 cup of chopped up onions. I just diced them down, and this was roughly about 1.5 onions, and I'm going to saute it. I don't want to brown it. The only thing I want to do is to get it limp. So as long as it stays with the translucent color, we're going to be fine. Now I'm not going to put any salt or pepper in this. I'm going to do that in the complete mix. When we get ready to mix everything together, then I'll go ahead and add the salt and the pepper at that time. Now these onions should take maybe about 5 to 7 minutes to just cook up, to get limp. You really don't want to cook them any longer than that because you don't want them to turn brown like you're going to caramelize them. You don't want that. You just want to saute them up, and then you're going to add this to the rest of the mixture. So I'm going to be here for about 5 to 7 minutes. When I get through with this step, I will meet you back at the table where we will put everything together for this delicious side dish. Be right back. Okay, now I'm back at the table and I'm ready to put this dish together. Now I have a large bowl here. Into this bowl, I'm going to need, this is my hash brown potatoes. And what I'm going to need is 3 pounds of this. Now this is actually a 2-pound bag. So what I'm going to do is I took 1 whole bag, and then I'm going to take half of the other bag, and I'm going to put it inside of this container. Now these are still a little bit frozen, so I'm going to just chop them down just a little bit. Now to this I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of my butter. I've melted my butter, so I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons of that. Okay, now remember it's 1 stick of butter, but you're just using this in 3 different ways. Okay, so now that I have my butter in, I'm going to put in my mixed vegetables. My mixed vegetables, I have roughly 2 cups. Okay, so I'm going to add that into the mix. Now I'm going to stir this just a little bit, just to get everything all stirred up. Now to that I'm going to add 1 20-ounce can of, it's a little bit more than 20, like about 21/8 can of cream of chicken soup. Now this is a good side dish, and if you just want to try something different with your family, you're just used to trying, the same old side dishes all the time, This would be a good side dish for you to try. Okay. You know me, I like to try to get every little bit out of the can, so I just switched it over to my spatula because that'll get everything out of this can. Now, once that I've added that, I'm going to add, this was a 8-ounce package of softened cream cheese, but I'm only going to use 4 ounces of that because that's all I need. It's just a half a pack of it, so I need 4 ounces. Alright. Now, my sauteed onions. Remember I told you, don't get the onions to a place where they turn brown. So these are just translucent, just like I need them to be. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. It smells fantastic. But then onions always light up your house. Okay. Now I'm going to mix all of this together. Mash down my cream cheese just a little bit. Then I'm going to mix this up. Now remember, all of my items are still, you know, they're cold. So it's not going to look like if you were mixing a warm dish. Because you're mixing this cold, you're going to bake this off in a 350-degree oven for roughly 45 minutes to 1 hour. And by that time, my baked baby back ribs, barbecue spare ribs, they should be ready. And then I can put together the entire plate for you. That's Max having his debut. So you have to just look over my bowl. Okay. Now all of that's mixed together. Now I'm going to add into this, my spoon, 2 cups of sour cream. I'm using Daisy's. You can use anybody that you want to use. It don't really make a difference. And sour cream adds good flavor to that. You know, sour cream adds good flavor to baked potatoes anyway. So you can imagine what this is going to taste like. Okay. I'm going to put in my salt, which is 2 teaspoons of salt, and my pepper, which is 1 teaspoon of pepper. Now, normally I would use white pepper in this dish, but it doesn't make a difference because this dish is colorful anyway. So you got the carrot color, which is the orange, and then we had to stop for a minute because the batteries in the camera died, so we had to change them. So that's where you'll see this little cut at. So, but basically, I'm still doing the same thing I was doing before she changed them. I'm just mixing this. And I don't know if you got a chance to hear me, but I was saying that, you know, with a baked potato, sour cream is good anyway. So you can imagine how it would taste, you know, in this particular dish. So, okay, I have all of these ingredients mixed up together. Okay, and now I'm going to add to that my cheese, the shredded cheese. And this dish calls for 2 cups of shredded cheese. I'm not a big, you know, cheese fan. I'm going to put in about 1.5 cups. Now, another thing that you can do too, you can coat this with cheese instead of coating it with Ritz crackers. So if you love cheese, you just go ahead and coat it up with some cheese. And this is mild cheddar. Okay. Now, that's mixed up. And what it's going to do is it's going to blend itself all together anyway, so that we don't have to worry about. So I'm going to sit these to the side, and I'm going to put it into my baking dish. Alright. Now this baking dish is like a 9 by 15, so that just gives you an idea of just how big it actually is. So I'm going to put this out in my baking dish. Now this is all you need to do for this. I'm going to mash it out. I'm going to try to get every little bit of this up in here. Drop just a little bit. Throw that over there. Okay. Okay, now every bit of this is in my baking dish. Now, I'm going to spread this out as best I can. And remember that these ingredients are frozen. So what you're dealing with is you're dealing with a mixture that's very, very cold. So it's not going to spread like it would spread if it was warm. But this is all that you need. And it's still going to be real good. Okay. So now that I have this all spread out in my baking dish. There you go. I'm going to add to this the last ingredient. And that's going to be my crushed Ritz crackers that I have. Now, to the crushed Ritz crackers, I'm going to add the balance of the butter that I had left over. I have this in a Ziploc baggie. So just think about it. All the butter coming together. And Ritz crackers have very good flavor to it. So we're talking about the butter coming together with all of these ingredients that would give you a similar taste to a loaded baked potato if you didn't have the vegetables in it. Okay, now once I do that, I'm going to sprinkle all of this down as my topping. Now, like I said, you don't have to use the same topping that I use. You can go ahead and do cheese if that's what you prefer. I'm not you know, a huge lover of cheese, but I don't knock it because I make quite a few dishes with cheese in it. But this is just something different that you can do for your family. Okay. Okay, now that's it. How fast was that? That was real fast to put together. We're going to put this in the oven. We're going to bake it off at 350 degrees for roughly 45 minutes to 1 hour. I'll get back to you when this is done and show you what the finished product looks like. Be right back. Okay, now we're back. I'm going to take this dish out of the oven. It's hot. Alrighty. There it is. That's the potato vegetable bake. Well, casserole bake. But you have to let it sit for 5 minutes. So I'm going to let it sit about 5 minutes because my ribs are not done anyway. They're in the bottom portion of the oven. So I'll let it sit and then I'll come back and I'll dish it up. But this ought to be a fantastic side dish. Be right back. Okay, now we're back and my dinner is done. So I just wanted to dish it up. I had to wait a little while on the... I'm always sticking my hand on something hot. I had to wait a little while for the ribs to get done. Here is our potato vegetable casserole, and then I'm going to put some of my barbecued baby back ribs down on the plate. Okay. Now I think that this side dish is the perfect complement. Let me put just a little bit more. There you go. And it came out real good. I'm very pleased with the way it came out. So that's what Chris is cooking tonight. I'm cooking potato vegetable casserole as a side dish for my barbecued spare ribs. Those are baby back barbecued spare ribs that I cooked in the oven. Okay, don't forget to go over and check out my site. That's chriscookforyoutube.net. See all of the items I have over there. My cookbook is also sold over there as well. And as always, thank you for watching Chris Cook for YouTube. Bye.